As you are working through your app plan to get ready for development, eventually along the line you have decided, okay, fine, I need an app plan. I need to plan out exactly what I'm asking for. But what really goes into it? Now remember, designs and drawings are okay, they're great, but you really need an exact instruction set in order to have a lot more success in this process. Remember, if you don't clarify your needs, you're likely to pay twice for the work. The first time you say, thank you, please make me an app. You give them the money. They say, sure, take the money. Here's the app. And then you go, oh, wait. That's not what I meant. Can you please make it this way instead? They say, sure, give us more money and we'll make you another one. You don't want to do that. You don't want to pay 2 times when you can pay 1 time. You want to make that resource go as far as it can. You want to be able to use that money for things like marketing, things like ads, things like whatever else it'll be that'll help you get off the ground and running. So here's a listing of what you need to put into your app plan. Now you'll notice one thing about every single one of these bullet points is that I say exact. I don't say close or maybe or kinda. That's where you end up paying twice. If you live in the world of kinda or could be like this, you are going to end up paying twice, because then the person on the other end is trying their best to understand what you're saying, to visualize what you're saying. But it's extremely difficult to get one idea from one head, one brain, into another brain. We've got to plan it out. We've got to give our developers the best possible shot at making this thing right. And the way to do that is by following an instruction set. Now, every one of us probably has built some kind of thing from instructions, whether it's Legos, whether it's, the main example that I use is like an IKEA dresser or of furniture, where you get this whole box of furniture pieces, and then you've got this instruction set, and you've got to put it together, right? You have the exact listing of exactly what needs to happen, and you've got all the pieces right here. And even that is hard enough. Even that is difficult to accomplish the first time with no issue. Sometimes what happens is you might miss a piece. You go a few pages in, you miss a piece, you miss putting something in, and then you've got to take it apart to do it again, which is super frustrating. You're saying, why do I have to do the work twice? It is the exact same thing with app development, but instead of just wasting your time building furniture, you in the scenario of getting an app developed, you'll be wasting your money having to pay for it twice. So please don't do that. So here's the list. Okay, fine, I need an app plan, but what actually goes into it? Exact pages, content, and value. So what this means is, what exact pages will you have in your app? How many exact pages? Not, I kind of need a page, or kind of this or that. No, I need 5 pages, or I need 7 pages, or I need 9 pages. Whatever it is, you've got it entirely mapped out. I have this exact many pages. And then for each one of those pages, here is the exact content that goes on each one of those pages. Now you'll notice I also say value here, and I kind of snuck this together because I was trying to fit it. But the idea here is that you want to communicate what value the app is bringing, right? Why is it being made? Why are you making the app? And the reason why you want to include this is because then you can get those visions aligned. When trying to communicate with a developer, you are trying to get their vision to align with your vision so closely that when you just say, hey, I need this thing done, it just gets done, and there's no back and forth weirdness. More communication is better, but it's very important to put value in the equation there. The exact access requirements. Who can access what pages? Out of those 9 pages or those 13 pages or whatever it is, who can access them and what can they do? Right? So you may have subscribers that have their own personal data on one of these pages, right? So they'll absolutely be able to access their own page of information. But what happens if they need to contact support and say, hey, I need you to change something for me, or hey, I need you to blah, blah, blah. The administrator or the support person has to be able to then go in and modify that data. Now, there's lots of different ways to do that, but it's very important that you think through those different kinds of things. How many different types of people are going to be getting access to this app, and in what pages and what access levels will they have? Administrator, subscriber, I would say, are the 2 basic ones you need. You need the person who's using the app to be able to do it, and then the person who's administrating, supporting, able to then modify that data. So that's very important. Now, you might need to have somebody go in and change words on a page or update an image or whatever it is. And there's lots of different ways to update data. Some are easier than others. Some are more user friendly than others. And you may need to have a background page, an administrator page built so that you can have one of your administrators change content on a page that is customer facing, right? So if you say, on a specific page, you say, in November, we're going to blah, blah, blah. And then once November comes and goes, you need to be able to change that. Well, how do you change it? You can go into the database and change it. You can create an extra page in order to let the administrator change it. Whatever that is, you want to think ahead and you want to clarify. Exact buttons and inputs. Now, notice I'm not saying kind of, sort of, or this and that, a little bit here and there. No, exact. Which exact buttons will you have on the page? What exactly do the buttons do? What exactly do the inputs do? Where does the data from the inputs go? If people fill out a form and they click a button, what should happen? Right? This seems kind of straightforward as we're talking through it, right? As we're talking through it, the idea of having, exact buttons and input. Well, of course, we're going to have buttons and I'm going to have inputs and this and that. Nail it down. Nail down the exact button you want. What's the button going to say? What's the button going to look like? What's the button color going to be? The more detailed you can be, the better instruction set you're giving to your developers. Now think through the idea of building that dresser. Back to that idea of making that instruction set to build the dresser. What happens if you leave out a page? You miss a page. Or maybe on one page you kind of get a little bit murky with the details. Oh, you grab the piece and you connect it to the thing. Which piece? What thing? What am I doing? Right? If you leave things murky, it's not going to turn out well. And really, ultimately, can you fix it? Of course you can fix it. Of course you can fix any miscommunication. You can always go back and say, hey, I need this fixed. The whole point of doing it right the first time is to make sure that you are holding that resource, that money resource, for better things, instead of letting that money resource be wasted. Okay? Next up here, we have the exact database. Now, you may think if you're not a developer, if you're non-technical, you may say, well, what the heck is a database? If you want to think about a database structure like shelves in a kitchen, right? So you're trying to figure out, where do I put my bowls and my plates? Well, we're going to put the shelves in, and now when you put the bowl down, it's going to be exactly here. Same thing with data, right? When I have, a name and a phone number and an email and a whatever else, where do I put that? What do I do with it? By defining the database structure, you're able to clarify exactly where things go. And this step is crucial in order to communicate to a developer exactly what you're building. When a developer looks at a database structure, what they think is, oh, I get it. Because they can see everything connected. They can see how everything is interconnected because it's not just one shelf, right? It's kind of like multiple different shelves all over the place. So they can then see the entire kitchen and go, oh, there's shelves there, there's shelves there, there's shelves there. I get it. It's a really fast way of communicating what you need. And this ultimately typically takes a lot of time in that, that initial planning discovery phase. And I would also say it's very difficult to do without a developer. So if you need help with this, please don't hesitate to DM me, send me a message on LinkedIn. I would love to help. Let's take a look at the next one. Exact scaling and expansion plan. So this is another one that's very important too. Giving forethought to where you want to go is a lot easier than just building something really tight without any thought about what you're going to do next and then having to rebuild later. So if you can think forward on where do you want to be in a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and then be able to build maybe a little bit more than you need or build in the way that you need it to communicate in order to tell the developer, hey, watch out for this thing. I want to make sure that I can do this, so please make this way. That way you're paying, instead of paying twice for it, for that one thing, you might pay a tiny bit more now in order to kind of set yourself up for later, because you have to maybe do a little bit more work now where you haven't fully realized it. You haven't fully built the expansion plan yet. But by taking the time to clarify that ahead of time, you are really, really nailing down for the developer, hey, here's the roadmap, here's where we're going. And then as time goes on, it's going to be easier for you to succeed. And you're not going to have to backtrack. You're not going to have to take that dresser apart and put it back together again. You're going to have you're going to have a section all set and ready for you so that when you do decide to upgrade, then you're all set. So I hope this has been helpful to you. Thanks for being here. Please subscribe to make sure that you get even more helpful info to help other people like you find this info. Please like and please share. And check out the link at the bottom there. And if you want more information, please don't hesitate. Reach out and say hi. Take care. See you tomorrow.